Happy Friday, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of NHLN Opinion Plus, a new weekly series coming at you every Friday. This is a space for our opinions where we talk about current events and questions the Latino community are curious to know. Today, we are joined by Joyce Craig, Mayor of the City of Manchester, who won a second term in office just last year. She is the 48th Mayor of Manchester and the very first woman to be elected to Manchester's highest office. Welcome, Mayor Craig, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. It's such a pleasure to be here with you.
We appreciate your time. I'm excited to have our conversation.
Thank you.
So I'd like to start off today with COVID-19's impacts on the city and your office's operations. Expansive research has shown that COVID-19 affects people of color at a disproportionate rate, and the CDC has reported that Latinos have been hospitalized from the virus at 4 times the rate of white non-Hispanic Americans. Manchester has one of the highest Latinx populations in the state. I'm curious if your office has noticed whether Latino residents fit within this national trend.
Yes, and COVID-19 has hit Manchester hard and our state hard and our country hard. The community here in the city has been working together to address this. Every opportunity that I have when I talk about COVID-19, I talk about sort of the important things that we as a community need to do to stop the spread. And it's just always wear a mask when you're heading outside or around people to maintain that social distancing, to avoid gathering in large crowds, and to be outside as much as possible, and to always wash your hands. We opened up our emergency operations center here in the city when COVID first hit. Our health department has been working around the clock as well to address the needs of our community, both from our residents to our businesses, tracking the number of positive cases that we have in the city, and then doing extensive contact tracing to ensure, again, that we mitigate the spread of COVID-19 as much as we can. When it comes to the different communities in our city, yes, we have seen it hit groups differently, and we have changed the way that we do business as a result. So what we did was we started doing billboards in Spanish to ensure that individuals who speak Spanish and read Spanish understand, again, how to best control the virus. Our health department is in the process of hiring 4 community health workers. These are individuals who are bilingual and bicultural. They live in the neighborhoods here in the city and will be working in the neighborhoods in the city to, again, help individuals understand the impacts of COVID-19 and how to best stop the spread. We have these community health workers in our schools right now, and they do phenomenal work, and we're really excited to have them part of the health department here. We have also done outreach, for example, to the church community, and worked with leaders in the community, again, so that we're working directly with people and they understand what needs to be done so that people are not falling ill to COVID-19. So, again, everything that we're doing here has to be culturally effective, and we need to make sure that we are providing information in languages, various languages, that individuals understand, again, to protect everybody in our community.
That's amazing. And you answered my next question, which is about that specific outreach and how you would target these specific resources to them. I'm curious where your residents could go for recent updates and sort of timely information about, cases day-to-day basis or anything else that is important regarding COVID.
Sure. I would highly recommend that individuals look at the city website. The address is manchesternh.gov. We have a dashboard there that's updated on a daily basis. It provides daily information every 3 days, school-specific information. So it really gives an interesting update on what we're seeing within our community. It also has information about testing. That's a question that we often receive, how they can be tested if they have symptoms or even if they don't have symptoms. So there's an extensive list on testing options. It's important to note that the Manchester Health Department does do testing 2 times a week here in the city of Manchester. It's free of charge. They need to schedule an appointment, and individuals should call 603-668 1547. They're open Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 3 a.m. So again, they can call that phone number and schedule time to be tested here in the city of Manchester. But we do also include other information of where testing is throughout the city, or throughout the state, throughout the city, and within other drugstores and things like that. So from a data perspective, to give a quick update on where things stand in Manchester right now, there have been 4,151 positive cases in the city of Manchester. Right now, we have 1,243 active cases, and that represents 21% of the total in the state of New Hampshire. There have been, unfortunately, 133 individuals who have died of COVID-19 in the city of Manchester, and 80% of those deaths are individuals who are in long-term care facilities. Not that makes anything better, but it's an important note when we're talking about the deaths. Manchester, as you know, has two large hospitals here in the city of Manchester, CMC and Elliott. Right now, they have 70 individuals who are staying in the hospital who have COVID-19, and that represents 45% of the individuals of the state who are hospitalized as a result of this virus. We are seeing an increase again in Manchester and throughout the state. And the more that individuals can continue to wear a mask, stay home when possible, and continue to social distance, the better off we'll be.
Thank you for that. We'll be sure to include those resources in the document with that. I can imagine those are amazing resources that it's almost life or death for many people, which is such a serious topic. So I'm curious also, what have been the biggest impacts of the city's operations by COVID? You mentioned an uptick in violent crime recently, sort of like that.
Yeah, so, what we're seeing in Manchester's the largest city in the state of New Hampshire. So what we experience here in the city is similar to what other large cities are experiencing throughout the country. I would say the biggest issue that we're encountering right now as a result of COVID-19 is an increase in individuals who are living unsheltered. So they're homeless here in the city of Manchester. Because of COVID-19, our shelter, which is the largest shelter in the state, had to decompress or decrease the number of beds that they actually have in their shelter in order to social distance and keep individuals safe in the shelter. So as a result, they're not able to take in as many people. Knowing that, they opened up another shelter, so they have more beds, but not as many beds as we did last year. And so what the city has been doing is doing extensive outreach with Manchester Mental Health, with Families in Transition New Horizons, who run our homeless shelter, with Healthcare for the Homeless. And they have been going out on a daily basis, meeting with and working with individuals who are unhoused right now in order to get them the help that they need. We are in the process, the city working again with Fit New Horizons, our shelter, to open up a temporary winter shelter. We want to make sure that we have beds available to bring people in during the extreme cold weather. And we also want to make sure that they have the services available to them to get the help that they need. So we hope to have that settled by the end of next week and be able to bring people in who want to come in. But there are instances where people want to be outside, and we know that. But we're doing everything we can from a community to provide the services. Most recently, I have a call along with all of the other mayors in the state of New Hampshire. We get together virtually now and talk about the issues that we're all facing. And the number one issue that every single mayor in the state said was a top issue was addressing homelessness. Collectively, we wrote a letter to the governor asking him to and the state to update the plan to address homelessness, which was last done in 2006. And as a result, there is work happening at the state level to do so. So we're encouraged by the work happening at the state level and all of the work happening at the local levels, and grateful for the partnerships and the community that we have here in the city who collectively works together to help our most vulnerable populations.
Thank you for that. That definitely seems like something very important to follow. I did not know that. I learned so much from this. Switching gears a bit, though, I'm going to give some context for our audience. People of color represent 10% of New Hampshire's population as of 2018, which sets a new record for brown and black folks within the state. The Latino and Hispanic populations have grown most rapidly, making up about 4.6% of the population. Mayor, do you believe there are areas in which all residents or other government entities can take further steps to foster inclusivity and equity for fellow residents with marginalized identities?
Absolutely. When I took office, that was a critical point and something that meant a lot to me. I grew up here in the city of Manchester. It's been a welcoming place, but we can always do better. And we've worked hard to ensure that everybody who is a resident in the city feels that they belong and they're welcomed here. And, you know, again, it's the community that helps with that. One of the things that we've worked on is putting together a multicultural advisory council. So this is a group of individuals who live in the city of Manchester who represent many different cultures, and they're basically a liaison between my office and the community, where they talk about issues and talk about recommendations, and then we can build policy from that. A lot of outreach is done. You know, they were very involved during the last elections, and actually wrote a letter to the Secretary of State requesting that ballot information and election information be translated into multiple languages. What they bring to the table is ensuring that we all understand how we can better communicate and how important this diverse group is to our community and who we are. So, you know, that's one example. From their work as well, we collectively wrote an application for a grant, and we were awarded that grant and brought forward the first diversity and cultural competency training to the city of Manchester. So it's a train the trainer program, and it's the first time that the city of Manchester employees have gone through such a training. And we focused on employees who are front facing, so employees who are working with the community, the city clerk's office, the tax office, the planning and community development office, police and fire, so they understand and look at things differently and can better, again, communicate and work with our community to meet the various needs that they have. And so we're excited by this work, and I know that there'll be a lot more coming forward. But, you know, to your point, we are a welcoming community, but we're always open to suggestions on how we can do things better.
That's perfect. Thank you. So then for my last question, very briefly, I'm curious of what you see your personal role in promoting equity across Manchester. Being the mayor, you know, you have an influence over these people, and I'd just like to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, you know what? Although I'm mayor, I am a person who grew up in this city, right? And I'm just like you, and just like every other resident in this city, and that's how I view this office. We've made it a point to have office hours in the community, different hours at different hours, different days, in different wards, so different neighborhoods, so people feel comfortable coming to talk to me. Some people won't feel comfortable coming into City Hall. And again, we want to make sure that people understand that I'm a mayor who is here to represent my community. And the best way to do that is to understand the needs of the community. And that's what is most important to me. And it's our community at large. It's anybody who lives here. So, you know, we want to hear from them. We take the information, and then we work to make things better.
Thank you for that. So thank you so much for talking with us, Mayor Gregg, and for being our guest on NHLN Opinion Plus.
Sure, it was my pleasure. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks.
So everyone, please tune in next week for another episode. Follow us on Twitter at NHLatinoNews and Instagram at NH_Latino News. I'm Belen Dumont with NHLN Opinion Plus. See you all next time.